What is going on, everybody? Welcome to What's a 411. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I want to thank you guys for joining the challenge because we were on a 10-day challenge. The challenge is up right now, and so it was a serious one. It was a serious one, and I was getting some feedback from the challenge, and I do put these challenges out to challenge myself. And while I'm challenging myself, I do like to try my best to see if, different individuals resonate with anything that I'm putting out. And, if you feel challenged by it, you definitely want to check it out and try to, we could all level up together. And then, of course, I always like to talk about life work. This is life work. This is about trying to pursue a better you. And it all begins with everything internally, right? So if you're looking to change your surroundings, change yourself, you definitely want to take a look at what's going on within, and then you're good to go. So I just want to thank you guys for jumping on with us today. We're doubling up today. We have two different interviews today, so we're starting a bit early, and we've got Chat about Toronto up first. I'm excited. I'm excited about this conversation. Hey, ladies,
Hey!
how are
We're good.
you?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you guys for
Thanks
joining
for
me.
having us. Nice to meet you.
I know.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you. So, can you guys introduce yourselves? Let me know all about you.
So you gotta go first?
No, you can go first.
Alright,
You
you
can
go
go
first.
first.
Now be shy.
We're called Chatbout. We're gonna be shy. No, my name is Felicia. People call me Black Rose. And I am one of the hosts for Chatbouttoronto. I'm also a radio personality on Vibe 105. So
Hey, okay,
Ooh, we see how
okay.
people joining in. Hi guys. Full of love, D.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. So I am Tasha, aka Miss T. I am the person who runs the Miss T Likes It page. I am the other host
Okay.
of Chatbot Toronto, and also I'm a visual artist and a event planner and all around badass, you know.
You guys have such a dynamic duo. Like your personalities go so well together. I love to see it. It's
oh,
Thank
so
thank
nice.
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, man. It's nice to see.
Yeah,
It's nice to
we're
see.
not strangers.
And I love both of your pages.
We're
Pardon?
not. I guess we're not
Yeah, we're not strangers to
strangers.
each other. That's why we're friends.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we
Okay.
have a
Okay.
synergy, you
How
know.
long have you guys been friends?
Oh man,
since
about
2007
7 years now.
years
Seven,
now.
seven
Yeah.
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Five is nice.
Cheers to
Five is
that.
nice.
We gotta do the cheers, sis. We have to do the cheers.
Right? Right? Okay, so what made you guys get started?
Well, Chatbot Toronto actually came about as we actually had another member with us. There was three of us. And it really just kind of came out of conversations that we were having as girlfriends, talking about our experience in dating in Toronto. So we would
Right.
always be like, you know, we all kind of worked at the same place. And so we all would talk about like dates we went on or DMs we got or, you know, dick
Yeah.
pics or whatever, like something that. So we would just talk about stuff like that, right? And we decided that,
Yeah.
you know, it would be really interesting to kind of like go live with the conversation and see
Yeah.
what other people were experiencing, you know? And so that's kind of how it birthed. And here we are, almost like 3 years later,
Yeah.
still doing it, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So who came up with the name or how did the name come up?
That was me.
That was
I came
her.
up with
That
the
was her.
name.
I'm not good at those things. I'm just not gonna come up with that.
You know what? It was just so random. We kind of brainstormed a few things and we couldn't get the name. Like we just couldn't think of what it would be. And it just actually kind of hit me from, I think it was a post I made. There was like these three little girls who were posting and they were all in this like badass pose. And I'm like, chatbot, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, yo, we should name our show that. Because it was like the three of us, felt like the representation of the three of us, right?
Yeah.
So that's really how it came about. It was just like a off the cuff type of name, and it just kind of it fit with what we're doing because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Chat about everything.
So when is the show? Like, when do you guys have it? When is it on?
We go live every Sunday on YouTube from 5 to 6 p.m. Every other week we're live, and then we have pre-recorded, but we're on every single Sunday, 5 to 6
p.m.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
5 on
Wow.
Sundays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then so you guys talk about everything. Tell us, like, give us the juice, spill it all. What do you
I think that what makes this show special, we speak about things that people try to pretend they don't speak about, right? So
Mhm.
we'll talk about sex do's and don'ts. We'll talk about porn. We'll talk about sexual positions. We'll talk about
Dating, like all kinds of
Yeah.
negative and positive experiences, and we
Yes.
talk honestly about them, right? So we pretty much talk about everything that's dating, relationships, sex, women's issues, and just life in general.
Yeah.
So we typically that kind of frames the content that we create and what we go in on, and it's because of the fact that, like, again, we're single ladies living in Toronto, and we have some lived experience that's sometimes similar, sometimes different, right? But we just figured, like, you know what, we're not the only ones experiencing this. There's got to be other women in the city who are going through this or have experienced something like this, and so that's basically how we started talking about it. And what we talk about is generally in that frame, in that realm.
And we try our best not to hold back. Because sometimes, when you're listening to podcasts, not everybody, but everybody wants to be perceived a particular way. Like, I got my shit together. I'm all right. I'm just here to give advice, and I'm perfect. But that's not what we wanted to give to people. You know what I mean? We just wanted to give the real. Like, we're not perfect. We go through what we go through, but yet we can be women. We can be respected. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right. That's right.
So, like, what are some of the things that women want to hear about? Like, what are some of the hottest topics right now about dating in Toronto?
To be honest, the two things dating is the number one thing that most people want to hear about. Yeah. They want to hear about our experiences. They want to talk about, the dating dynamic in Toronto, because we definitely have a dynamic. And then, like, on our show itself, I think one of the hottest topics we've had, like, where we got the most feedback, is like when we talked about dating Americans.
Okay. So what about dating Americans?
The conversation was honestly just talking about our personal experiences of dating American men. It wasn't a bash to any, like, Toronto men, to anything. It was just our personal experience, long distance relationship experience.
And we also had two men on who were to talk about their experiences dating American women, right?
But it turned out like we were hating on Toronto men, and one of the guests, started to get offended, and it just ended up becoming this whole big topic. Like,
even outside and after the show, there was a lot of feedback. We got a lot of messages. There's a lot of people who were like, "Yo, those girls ain't it." Like, it was just like they just felt so heated about it, and we were like, "We're not dissing. We're just telling you our experience."
Like, yo, you're in Toronto. Like, well, you're gonna hate on Toronto men. Like, how you gonna hate on Toronto men? You live here. You're gonna move to the States. Like, calm down. Calm down.
So what is it about American men then? Is it like, were you talking like real positive about them? Like, what was your experience?
We did speak about our positive experiences. We didn't really dive that deep into the negative experiences because we've had those too, right? But we did speak about them. We talked about the fact that they are, a little bit more chivalrous. They're definitely more assertive when it comes to dating women and approaching women. Yeah. They come up to us. They'll compliment us. They'll buy us drinks. They'll, we just talked about that. That's the onset, like when you first interact with them, right? We didn't really get into much further than that before everyone was like, "Oh, so what do you think? They're perfect, right? You trying to say that they're perfect?" No, we're not. We're just, because when you're talking about dating, and like that's one of the major complaints that women in Toronto have, is that the men in Toronto don't approach, right? So that was one of the major differences that we noticed about dating American versus dating Canadian, is that American men will come up to you,
Yeah.
So
it was drama.
You guys also talked about like the do's and don'ts of dating in Toronto. What are some do's and some don'ts?
Wow. Do's and don'ts. So we talked about so many times. I think like one of the major things is, like I just mentioned, is do approach, like make the initiative, like take the initiative and reach out. You know, I think it goes both ways, because we're not one-sided when we talk about that. Like women in Toronto, we have to be more approachable.
We do.
We definitely have to give more than just a glare to let a man know that we're interested in him, right? Like we tend to just stand there and just be like,
we do.
And that's supposed to be enough. He's like, I looked at him, he's supposed to know to come over, right? And so that is one of the things.
Wait, you're laughing. Is that something that you
No, because it's true, 100%. I've done the look before. I think we've all done the look before, like, yeah, he knows. He knows. I'm looking at him, so, you know, come on.
Right?
And then when he doesn't mind you, you're like,
no, feeling nice.
Yeah. But they do the same thing to us too. You know what I mean? At times they're watching us, and then that's how we know, like, okay, there's a vibe, you know, it's a stare back, and then it's like, okay, who's coming over to who?
Right? And that's what I mean. How many times have you had that experience where you're literally staring at somebody and they're staring back at you and ain't nobody moving? You stand over here with your drink and he's standing over there with his boys, and you're just like, are you serious? And you end up leaving and no conversation was had, no numbers were exchanged. So I would say one of the major do's is definitely make the move. Like, honestly, I think a lot of men are afraid to make that move, is because, you know, Toronto is a screw face capital and all that stuff. And so the women have this notorious reputation for just being stink and, you know, not being approachable. But I think that a lot of men would be surprised if they would approach some of the women in Toronto. They'll find that they would be well received.
Yeah, I think it is true. Like, I know I have that bitch resting face, but I know that if you were to come to me, I'm not gonna say, move from me, get lost, you're a loser, get lost. Like, I know I'm still gonna, you know, have conversation with you. So I just feel that maybe we're misunderstood.
Just missing each other.
Like we're missing the dots. We're not connecting with each other. And I think we just need to let our egos go a little bit.
Yeah.
And go for it.
And men always say that too. Like, how many times have we heard men who told us, even when we're talking about it, they're like, so why can't you guys approach us? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with approaching a man. And I have to say I've changed my views on that, because initially I was like, I am not approaching a man. Like, I was raised by a man who taught me that if a man wants you, he will let you know.
That's what I was
So I'm kind of old school in that sense, but I don't see anything wrong with approaching a man. I definitely do want to be pursued, though, as a woman. I don't want to pursue a man. So that is kind of what holds me back. But I think that men, like, they all say the same thing. Like, 9 times out of 10, if you approach a man, he will receive you well.
You think so?
That's what they all say. They're like, I would never turn away a woman if she approached me. Actually, I would enjoy that. So I've never done it, and I don't know if I will, but
It's true, though. I guess it's true, because I think in Toronto too, we do have that kind of, you know, screw face kind of a thing where a guy can come up to you, or maybe fear that he's going to get turned down when he comes up to us. But then when he comes up to us, we're like, oh my gosh, you know, it all of a sudden turns into a big smile. So
exactly. Oh man, here comes Cam. You see the comments? Cam said she challenged us to do that. Cam is one of our diehard. We are like, she is a supporter to the max. We love you, Cam. Yes. And she challenged us last summer. This was before COVID, actually, to approach a man. She's like, you guys make the move and approach a man and see what happens. Well, we never did that.
Never happened.
I mean, we didn't have the opportunity to. We did it because it was COVID, Cam. Yeah. But anyway.
Does adding someone on Clubhouse count?
What about sliding in the DM?
Yeah, like sliding in someone's DM on Clubhouse, does that count?
I mean, it could count.
I think it counts.
It depends on what you said when you slid in the DMs.
Oh.
Did you come on like a I was just like,
yeah, like, okay, so how are you supposed to slide in the DM? What is the right, you know, way to slide in?
I think it's with the picture. So like, just say he posts something, right?
Yeah.
If he posts something that you genuinely like, so that you can engage in a conversation with them, then I would use that and I would share it and send it to him as a message. Be like, oh my God, I really love that. You look good, or blah blah blah, and then he will respond after. And I've noticed, I've tried it a few times, and honestly, I've never, certain men I would never think that would responded back. No word of, like, I was just like, oh, really? Okay, well, okay.
Cam said absolutely not. She's like, if you see my face right now, she's not trying to hear the slide in the DMs is not the same thing.
How is it not the same thing? I think sliding in the DM is the same thing.
I think it takes the same level of courage. I mean, it's just not public, but it's the same level of courage. I haven't slid into anyone's DMs, to be very honest. But I definitely know that I could. I mean, it's safer to me than just all out just being like, yo, what's your name? Like a Toronto man.
But I feel like most men will respond anyways.
Yeah.
Whether it's positive or negative, I think they'll still respond. Like, I'm a woman and I'm not responding to every message that's in my inbox, but I find men will respond
more times.
You just have to take the risk.
I think too, because guys don't get slid into, though I shouldn't say that, because it depends on the guy, because some guys are hot. So girls are in that inbox, honey. They are in their box. And in their boxers. Okay? But yeah, I think guys are like a little bit surprised when women come at them with that. So they tend to they respond favorably.
Yes. And I feel like sliding in the DMs is better than meeting them in person if you have like anxiety or you can't pick up somebody in person. I find like that would be a good option. That's my personal opinion.
I agree. I think that's a good, and I mean, like, I think for me, I could get with sliding in the DMs because it's a nice roundabout way to start, like you said, spark a conversation without actually coming direct. Like, if you're out in a club or if you're on a boat ride or something and someone approaches you, you kind of know there's one reason they're approaching you. They're not coming up to say, like, oh, I really like that post you posted the other day on Instagram.
Right.
Like, right? So you know what they're coming at you for. But, like, if someone hits you up on the Instagram and the DMs or whatever, or whichever platform, then you can almost frame it in a different way if it didn't really work out.
Exactly. Or I just want to network.
I just want to hit you up. Like, I like your page. Like, keep doing it.
Keep doing it, my brother. I just want to shout out my black brothers, you know what I mean? You know, just take that pride back and spread some love.
But yeah, DMs are definitely
I think DMs are the best way.
Conversation.
I'm a DM. I can slide in the DM. It's easier for me.
I'm gonna have to start sliding in DMs.
Sliding
I've never.
Even if you know you're going to a particular country, you slide in certain people's DMs that like they look like they're into traveling. They look like they know where the right parties to go to, and then you'll message, be like, "Oh my God, like I'm just coming to Miami, and I just want to know, like,
where do I go?
Where do I
go?"
Okay.
You have to work the system. You have to work it.
You have to. It's true. You absolutely have to.
So what do we want to see, like, as females, what do you guys want to see when a man slides in your DM? What is going to get that response? Like,
I honestly, don't be creepy and don't be sexual right off the bat. I don't like that. Like, my page is very sexual in nature because I'm grown. That's my business. But I also don't like when men approach me on some, like, oh, so you like this, eh? You want me to do this to you? Like, bro, who are you? Like,
the tongue emoji.
The tongue emojis, or they come with some sideways stuff, and, like, just don't be creepy. If you trying to talk to somebody, then don't be nasty and creepy on anything. Just do like we just said. Just post something. Talk. Just introduce yourself. Kind of talk in a general sense. Get to feel out the person first, and see if they even like you. Because give them some time to get to your profile, look at your picture, see if they even want to talk to you, and then you can kind of slide in based on the vibe.
And then don't think you're gonna get a response if your page is private, because there's no way. How are we gonna be able? Like, if you're as a man and you're sliding into someone's DM and your page is private, that's just fishy to me. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
Because
agreed.
How do I know who I'm interacting with?
Yeah.
So I'm just supposed to be blind and going a day with you?
Like, let us see who you are.
Yeah.
And like let me see, you know.
Yeah.
And if your page is private and you want, then send your pic. Send your pic so we know Wagwan, and then we can decide if we want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But if you just send, like, if you're trying to talk to me for a private page, like, you're a fan. Like, I don't know what to say.
Oh my gosh. So like what are some of the big misconceptions around like these types of conversations that you guys have? Because you guys go in, like I was watching some of them and I'm just like, geez, you know what I'm saying? But what are some of the things that people
the judgment is high. The judgment is quite high. People perceive us to be like these fucking chicken heads, and we're people sometimes try to complain, try to compare themselves to our type of show where they feel like they're elevated black podcasts and they're not, they're not going to be talking about sex and relationship. They're going to be talking about serious things in life because they know more. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? And it's like, on this planet Earth, I can tell you this for a fact, there's something for everybody. So if you want to be the smart one, you want to be the political one, you want to be the controversial one, you want to be the conspiracy thing one, hey, this is the planet of billions of people. You're allowed to be whoever you are. But my only issue is that you can't hate because it's not something that you're into. You know what I'm trying to say? Skip it.
Just
and
don't watch.
I feel like, especially during this time, people need things that they can laugh about, things that they can talk about, because everything that we're seeing is negative. Everything that we're seeing is just creating this negative energy. And honestly, I wouldn't do the show if that's what we were pushing every single time. Neither. You know what I'm trying to say?
100%.
Yeah. To be honest, that is one of the main reasons why we started doing this. Is it was a relief from the norm and from the everyday serious conversation, the political conversations, the black conversations, all these different things. Like, not to say we're not diminishing the importance of those things. They have to be spoken of, and they are very important. But sometimes you just need a little release, just like why you watch comedy on TV. Not because it means that like nothing else in the world matters, only your stupid little show that you're watching.
Yes.
But sometimes it just takes your mind away from the stresses that you have, right? And the other thing too is that like some of the misconceptions is that we're promiscuous, or that we're man haters. We always dissing and talking shit about men. I mean, have you watched our show? Because we do not diss men. We talk very fairly on both sides, because sometimes we go in on the ladies too. We do. Because we got some shit to take care of and clear up and clean up about ourselves.
We even did a whole episode of cleaning your pussy, making your pussy clean, making it fresh. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we had this episode. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
We have gone in on so many topics. So it's not one-sided. It's not one-sided, and it's not, and it might be lighthearted because we obviously try to bring a little humor. We try to be real, of course, because that is, at the end of the day, that's what we try to be, is real. Yeah. And then, bring a little laughter. Sometimes we spice it up with a little knowledge. You might get a little tips or tricks, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's, in essence, that's just what we're
trying to do. Like, there's abundance for everyone. There's a space for everyone. Like, God didn't put us all on the planet to be the same. You understand?
That's right.
So, like, sometimes I find that we as a society, we feel like when we reach a particular age, in Toronto, I noticed, it's like we got to turn into like prudes. Like, life doesn't end when you turn 35. Life is beginning, because at the end of the day, you're getting real income. Now you've experienced the shit that you did in your 20s, and you're not going to do that same shit now. And you can really experience life. Like, why couldn't we be candid? Why can't we be free? Why can't we speak our mind? Because we've lived it. So we can be able to be lighthearted, to give you like these type of experiences. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because we even have like women from the older demographic who watch our show, and they're like, I wish I had a show like this when I was younger, so that I got the real talk, because I didn't have an older sister, or that it just wasn't spoken of. The sex talk wasn't happening. Parents, black community parents don't sit down and talk to you about sex. Not the real way. One and two people might tell you like, hello, you have your period now, you could get pregnant. That's it. Like, they're not even telling you anything else. You're like, holy shit, why did you get pregnant? That's it, right? So you don't even have, so I know there's a lot of older women who have been like, who appreciate the fact that we speak about it, because even they're learning stuff, even in their 50s and 60s, they're learning stuff from us, which is so strange.
I don't even think about it. I didn't even have the sex talk till the doctor told me I had low iron and I had to get birth control because it had to reduce my period or whatever. And my mom goes, no, doctor, is there any other option? If you give a child birth control, they're gonna have sex.
Right?
So that was when I had the conversation. So imagine.
That's crazy.
So I feel like these conversations are very important because there's things that are not gonna be told.
Yeah. It's just not. 100%. And even in today's generation, we still, even us and younger, we're still not having those conversations with the younger generation of women and men coming up, you know? So sometimes you need to watch an episode of Chatbout to hear the real shit so that you know what to do or what not to do.
We're trying to help people, you know what I mean?
Sometimes work.
Yeah. It's so true. That conversation is so necessary, man, because I mean, I'm still waiting for my conversation from my parents. It still hasn't.
Right? They just can't even, I don't even know. I don't even remember how I even got pads. Like, I think I went and got it myself.
Yeah, my aunt is the one, and my cousin.
Did you have a conversation?
No. She was like, call your mother. And like, literally, that was my conversation with my mother. My mother's like, Tasha, you know, now that you have your period, you know that means you could get pregnant. It's the same. You have your period now, you could get pregnant. I was 12 years old. What do you mean? So I didn't have no knowledge about sex. I was told that now that I have my period, I can get pregnant. So literally, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I'm gonna get pregnant. Like having heart attacks, you know what I'm saying? Not knowing that there's a whole penis that has to come into the equation in order for me to get pregnant, right? But she just assumed that I knew that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're supposed to know. The school is supposed to teach us.
Bridget, my mother didn't even know about that because they don't teach sex ed in the Caribbean. So she didn't even know what the school was going to teach me. She was just like, you can get pregnant, so watch yourself. Right? And then I learned about the actual anatomy and all those things in grade 6 when I first came here in grade 6. I was like in class, sitting in class, I'm like, oh my God, the teacher said penis. I was like, but that's when I learned about those things. I did not know. I was very sheltered as a child, and I was just like a real innocent child. Like, you'd never believe, because I turned out to be this lady now.
But like fucking hard cocks on your fucking brain and shit.
You never know. I played with my Barbies until I was 16 years old. I was a child for a very long time, and I'm happy I was, because God knows if I knew more back then, Lord.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. It's all good, man. I was just about to ask, like, what are some of the topics that you guys talk about on your show that, you know, we need to go back and maybe watch to educate ourselves?
The pussy one. The pussy episode. The pussy. We had 2 episodes, and that was our lowest views. Lowest views. We were talking about management of your pum pum to keep your pum pum nice and clean, fresh. Different foods you can eat, different things you can do.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to know about those type of information. I don't know why.
And to be honest, we have like almost 3 years worth of shows, because we started back at the end of 2018. And so we have been doing shows weekly.
Yeah.
I think we took like a little hiatus towards the end of last year, but we've had all kinds of topics. We've talked about all kinds of scenarios with dating and relationships.
Polygamy, polygamy.
We've talked about like, I can't even tell you how many. Like, we've talked about so many different topics. So maybe we need to make a list so we have them all.
Yeah.
But we have gone in on just about all different topics. We talked about, you know, cheating. We've talked about, like, we just had that scandal the other day with Mr. Jackson. We talked about, you know.
We look at Kevin Samuels.
Yeah. We've talked about porn. We've talked, like, everything.
We've watched porn. We looked at, like, the top 5 that women watch, and we watch them. Those are gonna come out. That episode is gonna come out soon.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about sex toys and pleasures. We talked about, we had that's the episode Pretty Pussy 1 and 2.
Yes, Pretty Pussy. That was the episode. Yes.
where
Watch
we talked
those.
about it. We talked about
Clean your
health.
pussy.
We talked about health and hygiene and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, there's lots of episodes. Just hit up Chatbouttoronto
Yes.
on Instagram and on YouTube. Our full episodes are on YouTube, and our Chatbout page is where we keep all the little clips so you can see if you want to watch it, because it's like, you know, we pull out some of the clips from there.
Okay. Somebody's also saying you talked about men's doo-doo drops.
Skin marks. Yes, we
So
did.
one of the horror stories that we had with sex turnoffs was there was this girl. She was having sex with a guy, and after they were done, he left his stuff on the couch. So she was coming to collect them. So while she was collecting it, she saw his underwear, and his underwear had the skid mark.
Like a 5-year-old.
So my question was, what would you do? What would you do, sis? Tell us.
Yes, Miss
If
Ellie,
you-
let us
yes,
know.
let us know. If that were to happen to you.
What would I do? I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do. I would probably, I don't even know if I would bring it to his attention, or if, like, I just don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do.
Would you cry? Would you feel like, oh my
I
God, I
wouldn't
let
cry.
this dick in me with shit stains in his ass? Shit stinks.
I wouldn't cry about it, but I probably wouldn't let him back.
Exactly. Like, go wash your ass.
I mean, yeah, like, what else are you gonna do? Offer a shower? Just be like, yo, maybe not even at my house either.
No!
Because
Exactly. You need to bounce, bro. Your Uber's outside.
you know what I mean? And then I'd have to go, yes, everybody's like, that's a yeast infection. You gotta go whole afresh right away. Like, you gotta,
You understand? And my question is, why was
Sure.
it there in the first place? But secondly, why didn't you shower before you came to me?
But you know something
something big.
You know, sometimes you have those moments where you shower. There's some people, sometimes when they shower, and right after they shower, they have to
No,
shit.
you have to go shower
You
again.
have, but some
I'm
people,
not a shit.
yeah, you
some
gotta,
people
you
don't
gotta
go
jump
back.
back in.
I go back, but some people don't go back. They think if they wipe.
And that's why we said we're gonna come out with some wipes. Okay? We are promoting wipes, especially for guys who don't get Brazilians. Please
Just to
get
clean
your wipes, and because hair traps stuff. So get your wipes together and keep your shit clean.
Yes.
Because we are about
Jeez. So what did the girl do?
that. You want to know it? Honestly, there was really not much she could do. There was really not much. She left them like she just never talked to him again. That was the end of it. But she said she did put Dettol in the bathtub.
Yes.
She did. So
Dettol,
she did. Even though I do feel that the Dettol situation is very dangerous, but she did. She did do the capsule, and she said she sat in it because she was like she was so disgusted. She was so disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get these stories that get sent into us. People send us horror stories. They send us their stories. They send us like their experiences and stuff because, I mean, what we're talking about is real life stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody has experienced stuff because it's real life stuff. So we hear it all. Like some of the things we just don't even talk about because we're like, that's a lot too much. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but we definitely get all kinds of feedback. But our shows, we talk about, even the other day, we talked about dating older men. We talked about dating younger men. We have, you know, all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
So much. There's so many topics.
Oh gosh. What if you find poo between their legs? I don't know about that you gotta smell. That you gotta smell. Like you gotta smell that. That's a lot.
Buy him some fucking Pampers.
No, that's a lie. That definitely.
That could never happen. That could never happen. That could never happen.
It has happened. Oh gosh. Oh god.
Baby girl. I'm sorry.
Definitely have to smell that because that must have been running down his leg or so. Maybe he has diarrhea. Maybe he was sick. I don't know. But if the poo is between his legs.
I'm trying to understand why is somebody else having to find that between his legs? Like why didn't he know that shit was there?
That is a good question.
Yeah, maybe like this is what I'm talking about. Like gentlemen. This is unacceptable.
You had to have felt that.
It's unacceptable.
Yes.
There's no way.
Basic hygiene right there.
I'm saying that's nastiness. Ugh.
Oh my gosh. What does the dating scene look like right now in Toronto? Like, are people like how? Yeah, like what? Like
Where is
how are
this? You
people
know where
even
it is? Can you find this?
where?
Where can you find a
Oh
scene?
my
Where is
Right
it?
now,
God,
the dating scene is in ICU right now at the
I
hospital,
see
taking all the
you.
beds because it's dying. Okay, so aside from COVID, we are. I feel before this whole thing hit, because right now we can't even really judge the scene as it is right now, because we
Right.
can't do what we need to do or what we want to do. However,
Yeah.
prior to that, it was very
Hard.
it's hard, especially for women. I think, of course, because population-wise, there's way more eligible women
Yeah.
than there are men.
Yes.
So that's the number one thing. And then you have men who don't approach, who don't come up to you, who won't initiate. And if they do, they come to you on some creepy type shit, or they come to you on some like, you look good. Like, so you have a man? Like, I'm too old for that.
Or like they send memes. They send memes as a form of communication. So
Yeah.
like they'll just constantly just send you the meme with no dialogue. So like they'll send the meme and then I will like it. Sometimes I look at it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just be like, I don't want to be
More
rude.
times you get an emoji.
Yeah, the laughing one.
You get a laughing emoji. Sit, and I'm on to the next.
Right? But and then they'll say, can we go on a date? But who the fuck are you? Like all you did was send me memes. So where did this conversation happen, and what would give you the confidence to even ask me on a date? Like you don't even really know
Just straight up
if my name
like
is
that,
real.
right?
That name that I have could be fake. It could be fake.
They need to try and get to know you first.
Yes.
And warm it up. Warm it up. It's the same thing they do with sex. You just try to stick it in. You gotta warm it up. Get it moist first. You gotta get it warm. Come on. You can't just go in for the date. You gotta get to know me first. Like, where are you gonna take me? Like, find out what I like. You know what I mean? And I think that that's one of the things that the biggest issues I hear most women complain about is the lack of approach, and then like the corniness when they do approach you. It's just like, and the other thing that a lot of women complain about is the lack of effort that's made by men. They don't go above and beyond in any way, and not like you have to do backflips. You don't have to fly us out. You don't have to do none of those things. But like you just have to put in a little bit of effort in terms of getting to know the person, talk to them decent, find out where they want to go. You don't have to go and drop $80 or like $80 is not a lot for dinner, but on the onset, you don't have to come out of pocket for no big set of thing. Like just be creative and be nice and approachable and like engaging, I should say, not approachable, engaging.
And like I said earlier, I just feel like Toronto men and Toronto women were just not connecting.
Yeah.
We're just not like reading each other properly. I feel like we all need to take heed to each other's like traits and personalities and try to work with each other. Like, like I said before, like, I have a screw face, but you can still come and talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, don't use that as an excuse. Like, that's why I don't want to talk to Toronto girls. Because, like, their faces look like that. Like, no, like, you know what it is. It's not like this is new. This is what it is. You know what I'm trying to say? So, like, accept that as just
but on the other side, we can be more smiley.
We can smile too. Like,
soften up your cheek a little bit. I've been raise them a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing some exercises to help with the smiling because I realized I don't smile. So when I wash my face, I like rub my face like this to make sure that
it also loosens the jaw.
Just to make it better, little bit.
But yeah, like that is actually true. Like
you have to work on it.
Yeah. And like women too, be a little bit approachable, smile. Don't just look at him. Smile when you look at him. Yeah. Because that might actually make him come over. Mm-hmm. Instead of just looking at him like, nigga, you see me looking at you. Like, let him come over, like smile and give him a little flirt and fling your hair a little bit, give him a little.
Oh my gosh. And then but like if there's more women than men, are we at a disadvantage kind of?
Yeah.
Like, does everybody have somebody? Like, is that kind of the thing? Or because so many women tell me like that their men are every man cheats or whatever, you know what I mean? And they all step out and do their thing. What is it?
I think that has become the practice. And I think the more we as women accept that as the practice, is the more it will remain the practice. So once you now become a woman that's accepting, like, oh, well, there's 10 to 1, and if I don't cheat, if he doesn't have more than one woman, I'll never have a man, da, da, da. That kind of shit is never going to change the narrative.
Yeah.
We're always going to be in that situation. I think the women in any country, city, place that you go are the ones who kind of dictate how the men act. So, for instance, when you're in the States, you know that American women tend to be more assertive when it comes to a man having money, spending money, taking them out, buying them things, all that kind of stuff. And so that is the practice. The men there are trained, for lack of a better word, to do that, right? And so if you are accepting of men's behavior, who they're just like, well, you know, we're men, we're gonna cheat. You will do that to somebody else, my G. You're not gonna do that over here. You understand? And that's how we have to be. Like, if you're accepting of it, it's going to happen. That's going to be your reality. Not all men cheat. There's a lot of good men out there who don't want to cheat. Yeah. But if you allow a man to cheat, why not? If you allow me to cheat, I cheated too. You know what I mean? So we have to be aware of like what we accept. But yes, we're at a disadvantage because we have way more women than men.
Yes.
And, you know, we're also like it doesn't mean that we have to stay here. There's, again, step outside of the box. There's the borders that we could go to. You could import a man as well. You could get a male.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm even starting to consider the mailing in the man.
Bringing a man from outside.
Like, none really pop.
Where would you go? Where would you go?
There's so many.
Yeah, like,
honestly, I love Southern men. I like Southern men. I like how they stay. I like their thickness. I like them tall and thick.
Like Mississippi?
Yeah. Dallas,
Texas.
Oh yeah. I like Southern men. I also like Caribbean men. I also like Ghanaian men. She's always like, you guys think you guys are romanticizing Ghanaian men? They're not really like that. I'm like, well, girl, this is all of my Instagram looks great.
This is what I'm saying about this whole. After this whole Wakanda movement, the same Caribbeans, the same African Americans used to call me African booty scratcher, who would never want to even wear African attire, is now telling me they want to marry a fucking African man now, and they want to do the traditional wedding. So my question to you is, where were you before? Do you have any African friends? There's very key questions I asked. Do you have any African friends? And why is it now you want to date an African man? Why? Because social media has made them popular?
It's normal.
But you know, but not our man. It doesn't matter which culture he's from, and I've dated every single one.
I think the other part though to that is that social media has made the rest of the world aware of the reality of African men.
Okay.
Because we have spent so many years being under the false guise that Africa was a poor country, it only has starving children, the men in them are hungry, they're just out there with their spears, like, right? We were never taught that there's thriving, beautiful cities and people of all affluent people who are rich, living better lives than us. We never had that. So social media has brought that, aside from Wakanda. But
I'm happy. I'm really happy. Like, in a way, it's like it's annoying, but I'm also happy. Like,
yes,
I'm happy because I know a lot of people are trying to return back home. And to me, that touches my heart more than anything. I don't care if you have...
Someone's asking if Africa is a country. No, it's not, honey. It's a continent. Come on now.
Come on now.
But anyhow, but the other part of it is that they also, there's a lot of people who are from countries in Africa who never admitted to being African.
Yeah, there was a period of time.
There's a lot of people.
I remember when I was in high school, I remember there was this one time, someone was like, yo, do you know this guy Raheem? I'm like, no, Jaheim. I'm like, you know this guy Jaheim? I'm like, who's Jaheim, right? And then the girl was, so one day, she's like, oh my God, when I see him, I'm going to show you him. I'm like, okay, cool. Then the girl shows me who Jaheim is. I'm like, yo, this nigga's name is Kofi. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Like, are you dumb? Like, it was to a point where, like, Africans in Toronto didn't want to affiliate with being African, right? So and I think that's where I guess maybe that's where the anger kind of like the thing comes from, where we get a little bit annoyed sometimes when like Caribbean were like, I need an African man, because it was just like, you guys shitted on us for so many years and we're probably dealing with PTSD or some kind of trauma from being African. Because I remember as an adult, I was asked to do a presentation for the Peel District School Board for Black History Month. So on the board, I had like just different pictures of different things, and I was asking the kids like, where do you think these places came from? And I asked them to scream out what were the words or the things that you would think of as soon as you heard Africa. There was like mosquitoes, flies, AIDS, and what they were just going in, and I was just like,
what media has done. That's the media, because if the people around you who are from African countries don't say that they're from African countries, you have no point of reference other than what's fed to you on the television. So all you know is them UNICEF commercials, bro. That's all you know, right? And so now, like I said, social media has now brought to light, and people are now being proud to say they're from all these different countries, because now we get to see what those, and now we can actually differentiate the cultures and the countries. We didn't even know. Like, we didn't know.
You guys didn't really like.
I didn't know. How would you know? Back then, there was no internet. There was nobody who's telling you. Watching TV, and you're going into encyclopedias to get your information.
And then the people who are from there were denying
it. So even if you had a brethren who you've been to their house and you're at their house and everything, you know how they live, but they're fronting like they're Jamaican, so you don't even know. Like, you had no point of reference.
Yeah, it was hard back then, because a couple of years ago, nobody really wanted to claim African. And even there was always a rivalry between the Caribbeans and the Africans, too.
And there was a rivalry.
You know what I mean?
There was a rivalry amongst the islands, because I'm from Trinidad, and I know lots of people who never, like, for Trinidadian girls are hoes, they're just, the men are gay, all kind of shit. So there's everybody from other islands used to also come here and pretend that they were pretend like they were Jamaican. They would never admit. So only when you grow up and you like see them as an adult, and now they are like they're using their given name, or they're you know, you're hearing them, you see them in fetes and all kind of thing. Now you're like, oh, you're Trini. I never use that Trini.
To be honest, it's true. Like with the whole Trinidadian and like soca scene, I remember there was like, because I used to have a lot of Jamaican friends, and I remember they'd be like, yo, we're not going to that soca. It's pure cool people. No black people that listen to soca. I was like, right? And then when I finally experienced it, I was like, oh my God, I was lied to.
You know how many of my Jamaican friends were like, if they play soca, we're leaving. We're out. Like, that's like, I remember, I'm old, so I remember when they used to play soca to air out the dance, dog. It's time to go home. That's when they're playing soca. And you know what they're playing? Hot. No, not even playing a jump. Hot. Okay? They're playing hot. For you to know people were pissed. Yo, the man wanna buckle the DJ, everything, because like you're fucking up their whole night. But that's where we came from in this city anyway. I don't know about everywhere else, but definitely in Toronto. So now, you know, you have the ability to appreciate other people's culture. You have the ability to see like, damn, there's some sexy fucking affluent men who working and who take care of their families and who are about, you know, have their morals together and all that shit. So the pool has definitely broadened.
It's open,
right? It's broadened a little bit. But there's still cultural differences.
Yes,
just because someone look good don't mean you can live with them.
I think my only thing for people who aren't African, who are lusting now over these African men, I just want you to research the culture. That's it.
Yeah.
A simple Google search. Maybe figuring out what tribe he's from. Something. Like, don't just want to be with him because of the outer part. Really get to know who that guy is. That is my only thing. And I'm happy that we are integrating now, because I feel like we are the chosen people. We are Black, and we all need to connect because we were disconnected. Right. But I feel like we still can't be connected if you really don't know about his culture, or he doesn't know about your culture. Right. That's all I'm asking.
And the other part is, please, African princess, stop fronting, bro.
You have a wife?
Stop fronting. If you have a wife, tell us you have a wife, and stop acting like you are a prince. Everybody's not a prince. No, but everybody's not coming to America. Relax.
But this is the thing, though. In regards to Royal Land, there are so many chiefs because there's so many different, like...
Yeah, but it's not like coming to America.
No, it's not.
He has a square of land.
It's about the day.
With 3 huts on it, and he's acting like he's coming to save your life. Like, get out of here.
But that's how they go. That's how they go. They're gonna get the lady though. That's
Right?
No.
They're like, oh, I'm a prince back in my home. Oh yeah, we're rich. We live rich. You should see our house. It's a palace. I have 8 maids. All kind of shit, bro. You don't even have lights. Stop it. Everybody's not living the same level. It's the same thing for back home Caribbean people too. We are not all living no high life. You come here like, I used to have a maid back home, you know, and I don't wash. I never used to wash when I was home. All kind of stupid shit. Like, stop. You front too much.
Yeah. But are people telling the truth when they're dating? Like, I find like sometimes you meet people, are they really giving you the 411 for real, or are they trying to front and pretend so that you like them?
Some people, I think everybody, you're meeting someone's representative on set. Like, that's just, that's almost everyone, even the most genuine person. You're meeting the best version of them in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not going to show them your bad ways. You're not going to show them your attitude. You're not going to show them all the shit that they don't want to see. You're going to show, you're going to present your best self.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not that kind of girl, you know. I don't get angry fast. I don't even get offended. You know what I mean? Do what you want to do.
I'm chill. Meanwhile, I'm real cussing. Right? So yeah, I think everybody kind of presents not a false sense of who they are, but they put their best face and foot forward when they're initially meeting someone. And that's why time is the only thing that reveals who people really are.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only thing that could tell. It's only time can tell. Because you can't act forever. And different scenarios will bring out reactions in you. And that's how you get to see, like, oh, that's one of the things I always say, like, for me anyway, when I'm dating a man, I always want to see what is he like when he's angry, what is he like when he's broke, because those two things bring out a different side of you. Is he optimistic? Is he violent? Does he have a foul mouth? Does he take it out on you? Like, all those things is what you want to look for and observe. And same thing for a woman. Like, sometimes some women turn into some Tasmanian devils. Sometimes a woman can present, she look good, her body's fat, she looking real good, and then she don't clean, she don't cook, her room's a mess. She's like, you know, like, there's so many different things. Or she's just like crazy, she acts all kind of, she's irrational. Like, so both sides, you know, you gotta take time to get to know people.
Yeah, somebody's saying alcohol reveals a person's true intentions as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Really?
Definitely.
You think so?
Alcohol.
You think
people get drunk?
So when I get drunk, I talk smack?
No, you don't talk smack, but that's one of the things that will bring that gets you loose, right? So you start to show your real thoughts when you're drunk or drinking. You start to get, you're less reserved. You're not thinking about what you're saying.
Okay, yeah.
So you start to show your true colors. But you're fun. You're a fun drunk.
I'm a fun drunk.
That's true. So how long then? Like, how long does that take? Do you think it's like 6 months, 3 months?
I
don't know that there's a definite time limit, but I think you should at least give it 6 months to get to really know someone. Not really know someone. I think it depends on how much time you're spending with them in that time too. Because you could spend, like, 6 months could go by, but you only see them once a month. That's not enough time.
Yeah.
But as well as you might spend 3 months with someone and be with them every day, and you get to know them really intimately, right? In that short span of time. So
yeah,
it's different for everyone. You kind of just have to go with your gut, like, but you just don't rush, you know?
Yes, very, very true. Very true. Well, you guys are 2 Black females doing a awesome job out here.
Thank you.
Like, you're showing us how Black females can work together and everything, you know, and then, no, it's true, because out here sometimes, you know, there's that stigma that Black women cannot work properly together, but you guys are definitely, you know, you're out here, you're vibing, you have this dynamic thing between you guys, and it's awesome to watch. So, like, how do you feel about how do you feel about being out here, showing your thing, doing your thing, you know, and working together?
I feel great about it. I honestly do. I love our show. I love our friendship. I love our dynamic. I think we're both kind of like, we're similar in that we have similarities in what we like and stuff like that, but we also, we're very different in a lot of ways. Very, very different. But I think the one thing that kind of makes us bond is the real aspect of our friendship and of our lives. We both look at ourselves from a real perspective, and I think that's what kind of contributes to the value of our show, as well as how we deal with each other, because there's no airs, we're not pretentious, we don't talk about each other behind each other's back. Like, if I have a problem with Mel, I'm gonna be like, yo, Mel, you on some shit again. Like, I'm gonna just tell her, you know what I mean? And I know similarly, if I do something, she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, so we're real with each other. We speak our minds. We don't hide how we feel. And I think that's really what contributes to any relationship being a good, sound one, is like, you know, being honest and truthful and say what you mean. You don't have to be confrontational or aggressive or angry to speak your mind. And I think that's the thing that we kind of.
And I think you have to understand the friendship too. You have to understand the person that you're dealing with. Like,
right.
Everybody's personality is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if this person is my friend and I value them, I gotta know the things that piss her off, the things I can do to contribute. You know what I'm trying to say? And she's gonna know the things about me, so that we can be able to compromise and have different type. Because at the end of the day, every individual is different. Like, I have friends who are not very social, but it's like it's a give and take. I'm the social one, so we work out. But they're organized and they'll do something, and I appreciate that about them, right? Because we have to understand that everybody has something that's different to offer. And once you don't respect that about your particular friend, I don't think you can go far business-wise. I don't think you can go far friendship-wise. Yeah. I think the friendship will just mainly be on the surface. Yeah. It won't be real because you don't really care for that person. You don't really understand that person's personality and work with that as a female or as friendship. Because you know how we are. We're moody. Like, at the end of the day, we're moody. Like, we can't pretend like women are like, oh my God.
We're always laughing. Sometimes you're like, what?
Yeah.
You know? Some days Mel's just on some sour vibes. I'm like, hey, Mel. She's like,
especially if you try to talk to me in the morning. Like, why are you talking to me in the morning? I done told you. I don't like talking in the morning. Everybody wants to talk to me in the morning. I'm not a morning person. And I
don't take offense because I know she's not a morning person, but I am.
So she'll still talk to me. But I appreciate that because it's not like she's holding it tight as an offense and be like, I'm gonna walk by Mel and not say good morning.
Like, she didn't want to talk to me yesterday.
She's gonna do it. She knows.
I'll be like, are you in a bad mood?
Said you. But yes, that's all I'm saying. That's all. We have to understand our friendships to make sure that, you know, because nobody's perfect. I keep on saying over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
We're never going to be perfect.
And we're not trying to be.
Right?
We just real.
Sure. Wow, that's nice. All right, so guys, I just want to thank you guys for coming on the show. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a great laugh.
Yes.
And you guys are, oh my gosh, I'm definitely going to check your show out on YouTube because...
And we definitely need to do this again because this was good.
100%.
Are you saving the show? We want to see it again.
Can you save it so we can...
Of course, I'm going to save it. But before I let you go, I want to know if you guys have like a inspirational quote or a motivational quote that you kind of go by that you would like to share.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Be yourself. Be your true, authentic self. If you focus on people telling you who you're going to be, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to be content with your things. So always choose to be your true, authentic self. That's all I have to say. That's it.
That's good. That's similar to what I would say. But the other thing I would add to that is you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And that I basically mean that sometimes you have to know when to fight and sometimes you have to know when to give. And I think that that's something that a lot of people kind of don't always maneuver the right way. But that's a lesson that my mother taught me. And she's like, you know, sometimes you get your way just by being nice.
That's it.
You don't always have to fight. Even when you have the right to fight, sometimes you just ease on in there. Right?
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yes.
Very, very true. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for jumping on. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we will definitely be in touch.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
Thank you for
And
having
everybody
us.
listening, check us out, Chatbouttoronto.
Yes.
We are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitter, but we hardly tweet. We're on all platforms, to be honest. We're on all the Spotify and all the everywhere. So check us out and listen to our podcast.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you, and thanks for having us, Miss Ellie. It was our pleasure.
Yes,
No
thank you.
problem. No problem. It was a pleasure having you guys, and we'll talk to you
Yes.
soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
So.
Okay, guys. Whoop. That was fantastic. That was a great show, right? Oh my gosh. So many gems. You don't know I'm definitely going to be on there checking out their YouTube. So make sure that you guys check out their YouTube, Chatbouttoronto, on YouTube, on Instagram. They told you it all. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys check it out, okay? We're about to take a quick break. I'm going to upload this video and then I'm going to jump right back on because we have another interview coming up right now at 8 o'clock. All right. So you guys take care and I will see you in a couple minutes. Bye.